Are you okay, Juliet? Juliet, speak to me!
You're talking.
So, what's wrong with that?
When did you start talking?
I've always talked.
Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. First, an interview with an actor, someone involved that made the film worth watching. And the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. I hope you enjoyed last week's interview with sound mixer extraordinaire Audio Andy, his stories from Capitol Records, going from Green Bay to Hollywood, and of course, working on the David Duchovny movies, or should I say Mary Crawford, the director of A Talking Cat, and this week's sequel, A Talking Pony. Whew. I'm not going to horse around right now. We're just going to get right into it. I got to introduce you to my partner in this sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how you doing?
Well, I was doing fine until I had to stay up late last night to watch this. I don't even want to call it a movie. I don't know if it's a documentary. I don't know if it's afternoon special. I don't know. My question is, and I know we have a guest, did he do something wrong to you that you made him watch this movie?
No, he did not, but I can tell you, I'm going to say a hot take right now. This movie wasn't that bad.
Oh, okay.
What? All right. That you just heard is our guest. He's played with dolls when we talked Child Play 3. He also took Manhattan for 5 minutes with Jason when we did Friday the 13th, part 8. And also he discussed probably the most troubling movie we ever covered, where John Voight wants to put kids in concentration camps. When we talked Baby Geniuses 2. Of course, I'm talking about Tommy Kiczula. Tommy, how you doing?
Oh, man. I was doing a lot better, just like Jamie was saying before I watched this movie. Super Babies was a pleasure to watch compared to this. And I don't know. I guess you liked it, but
Tom, serious. What did you do? What did you do to Doug that he made you guess? Because I mean, we have a lot of movies coming up. I mean, he could have asked you to, pick any movie that we have, and a lot of good ones coming up. Why he picked you for this one, I don't know. So you must have done something.
It's my fault. I asked him, can I get more involved? And this is what I get, All
right, fine, guys. I'll tell you before we start. I'll tell you right now. I have one problem with this movie.
One?
It shouldn't be
one.
It shouldn't be called A Talking Pony.
Okay, that's okay. So 100%. First of all, there's no pony in this movie. So the fact that it's a talking horse.
Talking horse is the title. It's actually the later title, the working title after the movie. But continue.
No. It's so that was like, okay. I have a lot of complaints about this movie. I mean, a lot, and that's again, Doug hit it right away. It's called A Talking Pony with, the question mark and an exclamation point.
And Terabang.
But it's a horse.
It's a horse.
I mean, there's a big difference. There's a big difference between a pony and a horse.
Of course.
Well, don't start that.
And they all say it. They all say it's a talking horse. Almost every character, well, 4 of the characters in the movie, and the horse himself, Horatio, he says it himself. I'm a talking horse. And I'm like, where the hell did they get pony? Did somebody own the rights to a talking horse?
The only thing I have is whoever wrote the title, maybe they weren't sure because there's a question mark. Talking pony with a question mark. So maybe they didn't know, they're not a horse or a pony expert, and they leave it for the audience to figure out.
But they didn't know loudly. They were screaming it. A talking pony?
Okay, so before we get even, I'm going to say this right off the bat. This movie has very little to do with a talking horse.
Of course.
I don't think...
I didn't even mean that, but...
No, but there's really... The whole point of this movie, of the title, really means nothing in this whole movie.
No, the horse really doesn't help at all.
No, it goes nowhere. It goes absolutely nowhere.
It doesn't affect the conflict, anything. No. It doesn't fix anything.
Nothing. And you know what the rating is for this movie?
Probably too low.
Well, I don't mean like Rotten Tomatoes ratings. Because, I'm sure it's near the bottom. I don't know what the rating is, but Son of a Mask to me is better than this, and that's saying a lot. But it's 7+.
Where?
It says it right in the beginning of the movie. If for audience is 7+. So if you're 6, it's way too advanced for you. But 7's okay.
Well, it is called the Fun Family Features. That's a bold statement. And the name of your title company, it's like a movie's called Great Horror. It's like, okay, asshole, you better deliver. And I'm telling you, this is a family movie. I would let my daughter watch, and it was fun.
Wait a second. Hold on. There's also a lot of innuendos in this movie.
A lot.
Okay, so I'm not sure if it's 7+. It might have to be a little higher than 7.
And you have to understand gambling too.
Wait, was that really gambling that we watched? I mean, it was more like taking advantage of people that are just have a lower IQ.
They had brain damage, and it proves later. We'll get into like how much brain. Let's get into the movie. Let's actually get into it.
Let's get into it.
Jump on the horse and just go through the gate and get started.
So you said that.
Okay, hold on. Before we go further, okay, there are plenty of horse jokes in the movie. I don't know if we need as many horse jokes as we're doing this review. The of course is going to be throughout the whole review.
Okay, so
wait, real quick. Sorry, 1 star, Amazon Prime. 3.5 out of 5 on Netflix.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm canceling Netflix now because it was for Amazon Prime. It's 1 star too many.
Wow.
I don't know.
Wait a second. We're really gonna dive into this, but you really could sit here and say that you'd like this movie.
I can say I laughed, and I really laughed, not in the fact of maybe because I went into the movie. I watched some of The Talking Cat after How Did This Get Made did it, and then that's what prompted us to reach out to people, and we connected with Audio Andy. But I watched that movie, and it was like, oh, that was bad.
Okay.
This movie, I really laughed. Like, so if you're watching a video, but I'll describe it. The fact that a guy that's kind of a kid acting legend, the voice of Horatio, that's the only guy, Jonathan Whittaker. Dude, he was Sid from Sid the Sea Monster. What? Well,
I think Sid had better special effects than what was going on in this movie. Okay. And here, okay, so this is considered a movie, and the movie is an hour and a half long. If you take out every montage and nature shot and shot of the horse, you probably are down to a 30-minute movie.
Okay. I'll mention it now. We usually talk about it at the end. I would say if this movie was cut down, it could be a perfect hour, like ABC Family movie. Well,
again, it wouldn't be perfect. It would be.
Well, let's get into the movie. So I love title sequences, as you know, and how troubling. This was Munchie-esque. Seeing the horse run, and it was like not really running. It was just like 2 shots of a drawing of a horse, and then you just had hoof sounds over and over again.
There's a lot of loops in this movie. So like the horse sound. There's a lot of loops in this movie. And you know what? They could have, like, again, they'd like to do a lot of farce scenes of like nature and like cars driving. They easily could have done that for the credits. And that would have been a better credit sequence.
Move the waterfalls into the credits instead of the horse.
Yes. I mean, like, you know, I and the credits went on for a while. I was like, all right, come on.
I would say one thing about this movie that really made me laugh in itself was when this isn't like funny as in laughing. This is more like funny as in like, no way. How many times when they did like the waterfalls, which they used every second of stock footage they bought, they used multiple times. They get their money's worth, right?
Multiple times. I mean, the horse scene with the girl was the same scene over and over again. Okay. So, I mean, like seriously, I don't know what the budget was for this movie, but I don't know where it went.
I wrote it down every time there was a nature scene. I think the final nature count was 16, and it's all of the same nature shots. Also, like you're saying, same shots of her riding, rushing, feeding the horse.
Okay, so 16 minutes for the nature scenes, and the horse and the girl scenes were longer than the nature scenes.
Well, they were spliced. Yeah.
No, I can tell you that this is what my point was before. When you're watching those scenes, the thing that was funny was you're like, it's gonna be over, right? And then it would just like keep going. The one they showed like the water of like a babbling brook, and it was slowly panning over. Like, oh, this is over. And then it's like, oh no, we're gonna pan down to a waterfall.
Wait, those scenes were not as long. I'm telling you, there's no way those scenes were as long as the girl and the horse.
No. I'm not saying they're not as long, but I'm saying both of them had that same element. You're watching, and you're like, okay, it's gonna be over, and then you're like, fuck you.
Well, but that's what I mean. So if that was 16 minutes just for the nature shots, you've got to assume at least 20 minutes for the girl and the horse. So now you're down to 45 minutes of a movie.
Well, like those nature scenes, those are cut shots. They're establishment shots. They're supposed to last, 5-10 seconds?
Well, typically they don't use them. You don't use them that much, especially when you're in the same place.
And considering none of the scenes took place in any of those nature shots.
True.
So they basically had nature shots of areas that were not even in the movie.
Yeah.
Exactly. So let's get to the start of this movie. So Juliet, she was a highlight of the movie for me. The fact that she's 16 as a character.
As a character. She looked older than 16.
Okay, good. I don't want to go to jail. The fact that she is living in a room that's for an 8-year-old. And this whole beginning of the movie, this nightmare? Is this a nightmare?
She also wears the same pajamas every time she goes to sleep. Because
they shot this in 48 hours. Remember that? This whole
really?
movie. Which 48 hours, when I say that, it's like, oh my God, 40 hours. No, it's just 2 days, and they only shot probably 11 hours each day. That's why you had so much of the repeating footage. So I'm sure this movie actually probably made money.
Because they filmed it on a cell phone, and the cell phone kept, losing battery. That's why. Because that's what it looked like. It looked like it was shot in a cell phone.
And it still cost $1 million.
It cost $1 million?
Budget was $1 million.
Where was the budget then? Because they didn't even use like any kind of animation for the talking horse. I mean, the talking horse talked through his head. Like, they didn't show any mouth movement. So, I could see maybe that would add, price to the budget. But they used the same scenes, same location. Like, they didn't change the location. They have 5 actors in the whole movie. Even the car drive, they weren't really driving. And we'll get there.
I thought that was a clip from The Shining, actually, when they were driving through the mountains.
But they could have just bought like a $2 thing of peanut butter to make the horse's mouth move. But no, $1 million. Maybe Audio Andy, he's stiff for getting. The sound was perfect. Can we agree on that?
The sound?
Well, I mean, you mean like the Debbie Downer music of wah, wah.
No, I mean the sound that Andy does. He's picking up the audio.
Yes, the only thing, the sound was very good. The repetition of cartoon sound effects was not. I don't know if that Audio Andy was part of that.
No,
okay,
but it sounded good when it happened.
Yeah, the first time, and then the second time. When you hear the same zonks and zooks every single time later on, it's after a while it's like, all right, enough.
I love them every time. Each zonk and zook. So the fact that she's having a dream. So she wakes up, she goes to her very creepy stepbrothers, which gives you like that porno vibe. Was the fact that she's like, Pete and Craig, where are you? And she looks under her bed. And then this is the first cut of the movie. This is the first cut to water.
The first speaking scene that was in the movie. Yeah. And how creepy is that she wakes up, again, this is a dream, but she wakes up and right away, the first thing she does is look under her bed for her brothers.
Yeah.
Why are they like? Wouldn't that be creepy if they were there, that they're watching her sleep?
Well,
they're stepbrothers.
Used to that.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's allowed then.
I don't know if it's allowed. But no, so we get the cut to the creek. And my first note, because obviously we know that there's a ton of creek shots and water shots. I wrote, wait, no one's at the creek? Question mark. And I love that she sees a plate on the table and she goes, Mom, wait, is this my birthday?
Birthday.
And it's not her birthday. And it's only breakfast. Like, you know, and well, yeah, she didn't wake up yet, but like, or she was. No, you're right. This is still the dream. So is it my birthday? But it's not her birthday. So like her birthday had no factor. So if it was her birthday, she'd be excited about breakfast.
Does she only get breakfast on her birthday?
Maybe.
They live on a farm. I mean, when the car drives there, there's like nothing around there.
Yeah. And again, right after that, cut to water. So they're like within like, how many lines did she really say? She walked into that room.
One.
She said that line and it was it. And then cut back to the water.
Back to cut.
Well, she does a lot of talking to herself in the movie. So she said like 2 lines when she was looking for the brother and then the breakfast line.
And then she starts feeding Horatio the pony I wrote.
Pony.
And Horatio sounds like something else.
Oh, what does he sound like?
Well, in the porn world. I again, there's a lot of innuendos in this movie. I think that's one of them.
Really?
Okay. If you can think of any horse that you've ever met, or even if you go to a farm, the odds of one of them being Horatio are going to be very slim.
Okay. If there's any horses listening, you know, at Sequels Only on Twitter, Facebook.
You don't think that's a coincidence? Horatio?
Wait, Horatio's a porn name? Is that what you're saying?
Fellatio?
Oh my God. I didn't even think of that. I think you meant the sounds that he made were like sexual grunts or something.
No, I'm just saying it just sounds.
Horatio,
that was
fellatio.
sexual?
I don't know. It's a little personal if that's what you hear when you're having intimacy with your lady pal.
All right, real quick. Horatio, Hamlet, Juliet, Romeo and Juliet. Why?
Wait, there's Horatio and Romeo and Juliet?
No, Horatio is in Hamlet.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, while we're there.
Oh, look at you with the Shakespeare knowledge.
Yeah.
He's smart.
Are you a Shakespeare fan?
I have his books.
I hate reading Shakespeare, and I'd rather read that than watch this movie.
But like,
Whoa.
it's just a total loss. Like they named the girl Juliet just because she's a love interest, and they named the horse Horatio. But he's just a character from Hamlet, a totally different story.
Yeah, but then where's Wesley come from?
There's no Wesley.
Nothing.
They failed.
No, what's the guy's name?
Wesley.
Oh, as I'm saying, so I think so you're just saying this between the horse and the girl.
Yeah, but the horse is from a different Shakespeare. Like they screwed this all up.
Well, okay, so see, I like how you're going that way, and I'm thinking, it's more pornish. I mean, and because, and I'll tell you why. Here's another reason. Doesn't the horse say something later on about her practicing kissing the horse or something like that?
Oh yeah, we'll get into that. That's
okay.
good.
So think about his name. I'm just saying. So I think there's something to that.
Oh.
And by the way, I have a little knowledge. I did a little research, and there's something I don't know if you know about the director.
Oh well, yeah. No, I think I do.
Okay. Well, then all this talk should make sense.
Oh no, that does it does make sense. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so let's finish the first dream sequence of the movie here. So it's so weird. Everybody's being so nice to her. They pop out and sort of like scare her. I'm like, man, is she like dying or something? Is something wrong with her? They go, hey sis, we're gonna be a big happy family like you always wanted. And then I'm like, why now? Like, why is this happening now? And then they say they're going to lose the farm unless we don't get money. And then they say they want $1 billion. Now, at that point, what are you thinking is happening?
Well, you definitely don't think it's a dream. So, I mean, it was a pretty wild dream that she had. But yeah, I was a little confused up to this point.
And then she falls for the old spider and the shaving cream trick when she wakes up.
You know what? These two guys are extremely sadistic. The comment they made to her when she said that, I'm your stepsister, She goes, and they were like, well, that's only, when your father was alive. Now that he's dead, like it doesn't count. Like, are you kidding me? Like, how morbid? This is for a 7-year-old. This movie.
Yeah.
I mean, so.
Well, Disney movies, people die in every Disney movie.
Yeah, but this is like they're cartoons. These are like people are saying, all right, so a 7-year-old who lives with his step family, whatever, that he's now thinking, all right, so if my mom dies, I lose all my brothers and sisters because they're not going to be real anymore.
Yeah, pack your shit and get out.
All right, life lessons. That's all.
And I love the whimsical music in this movie. There's a lot of slide whistles.
I said all cartoon, it's like that corny, cartoony kind of like old timey kind of thing.
Yes,
it's almost like they didn't have money to pay for the music.
They had a guy in the back who had like all these different instruments. He just every time they did something, he just did, he did the whistle, the slide thing, and
a guy. What do you mean? They probably got a preschool teacher who had like a crate of kids' instruments, slide whistles. Because I remember one. It was like, remember the ribbed wood stick? I heard that in this movie too.
You know what? Forget the teacher. She probably had a bunch of third graders doing this. They don't cost much, so that they brought them over there, and she gave each of them an instrument.
And then we cut to more water flowing, and dude, the guy that is from the bank. Okay,
you're jumping all the way there already.
You skipped the drum solo.
Well, so she first of all, how nasty she was to the stepmother when she was
mean to Kristine Debell, former guest. Yeah. Yes,
I know. No, but when she goes, I didn't have time to cook, and now she knows her mom is like struggling about this whole thing. And then she goes, yeah, as usual, she said, like, really? Like, she's like 16 years old. You can't make breakfast yourself? Like a little nasty.
I can say the reason maybe why, because you have to think she's the only one by herself, like her dad's dead. That's not really her mom. So maybe because the son's bullying her in the morning, imagine waking up to worrying about kids under your bed. Yeah, but you don't take it out on the mom because she seems pretty nice the whole movie. She's very nice.
Right. Well, she's also very friendly too.
She does. I'm going to say it right now too. She did a great job, really, for a movie you're shooting in 2 days. She did a great job.
No, you know what? She did. I don't have any complaints with her. Again, I think the girl's a little nasty to her because I think the mom is really trying and she's struggling.
She is. She doesn't know this stuff. Your dad always handled it. She had all papers all over the table, a calculator. She doesn't know how to figure it. Again, do you really need a calculator to figure out your bill? Because it seems like they make no money off that place. There's one horse.
Wait a second. First of all, there's no animals but the horse.
I know.
They're obviously loaded because the one brother has tons of money that he keeps losing.
Cash.
I mean, he takes a lot of cash out constantly. I don't know where he's making it. How about like putting all that money towards, paying some of the bills?
Yeah, and he didn't get it from gambling because we've seen what he has done.
And the fact that this family's fallback, she says, I don't know if we have to sell the farm, we'll just move back to the city. I know the farm is going to be money that they're going to have for a little bit, but the city typically costs more money than living in the middle of nowhere.
Oh,
so the fact that that's the fallback plan is not
well.
Good.
The fact that this is a farm, I mean, we take a tour of the entire farm with the bank guy. There's no crops. There's no animals. There's no crops except for one horse. Like, what kind of farm is this?
There's a guest room.
There is a guest room,
and that's it.
That's it. But okay, and he's gonna build a 17-story mall or whatever he said. Like, what did he say?
I love that scene when he's looking off in the distance and he's like, "What are you doing, Dad?" He's like, "I'm just thinking about where I'm going to put the 10-story parking garage."
Yeah, right. But the farm is not that big. I mean, and it seems like it's in the middle of nowhere. So it seems like an odd place to put a mall.
You can say it's in the middle of nowhere in the script and what they want us to believe. But when she's on the horse, it is on a highway with lots of cars driving by.
You are right about that.
One time I thought they were like, because we saw that montage, we talked about it already, like probably like 5-6 times, But But the second time they panned over too much and I saw it, I'm like, holy crap. But later they showed it even more. I'm like, why would they leave that in? We're supposed to know this is like almost like a utopia in the middle of nowhere. No, it's right off the.
Listen, they left a lot of things in there they probably shouldn't have. So, I mean, there's one point where you actually see the cameraman in the reflection in the door.
Yes.
So, I mean, so yeah. And when those guys are driving, there looks like there's a white board on the outside because
they're not moving. Yeah,
they're not moving at all. It's white or so.
Oh my god! So I mentioned his name before. We don't see him yet, but Mr. Beetle, perfect name
Beetle.
for like the guy, the worst of the bank. But do you know what he's from?
I did look on IMDb, so I do know.
He was the Red Power Ranger on like the second or third generation. I don't know if he was on the Vernon Wells.
No way.
Seasons of Power Rangers, but yeah, he's the Red Power Ranger on Time Force.
Yeah,
which I think Vernon might have been the villain on.
He looks like one of the Wilson. Is it Wilson brothers or like what's his name?
Billy Wilson?
No, maybe it's not
from the Beach Boys.
maybe it's not the Wilson. What's his name? He looks like an actor, and I can't. I'm
you know about Luke and Owen Wilson?
Luke Wilson. He looks like Luke Wilson. You don't think so?
Luke and Owen.
No.
Him or like Sean Cannon, another guest of ours.
Sort of. No.
A friend,
he has that look.
A friend of mine.
A friend of yours.
Friend of the podcast.
Friend of the podcast. So then we get the brothers. Which what are they doing when they're doing their modeling skills? It looks like they're on drugs. This whole movie, maybe they were indulging on set. They looked like they were on drugs the whole time. Because even when they were. I thought they were joking. I thought it was like a thing like they were joking, but they were dead serious that he's like, I'm gonna be a model when we go back to the city, and he's gonna be my manager. I'm like, what's going on?
Their characters look like they would be like the stars of Harold and Kumar. Like they just look like the bro stoner kind of guys that could fit in any of those movies. Especially especially the one that keeps losing the money. Like he definitely seems like you would see him in like Can't Hardly Wait, or like he seems like that kind of character.
I don't know. I disagree. I think this was the most believable part of the movie, to be honest. Let me see your modeling moves, Jamie. Do you have a good one?
Wait, I don't, and that's why I'm doing a podcast. But I just want to. But you think that has the face of modeling?
No, but he believes that he can.
Yeah, but do you believe? You said this is the most believable part. So I think you believe it also.
I believe that they believe that they can be models.
Ah. Okay.
I don't believe they can be actors.
I believe that they believe.
Yes.
That sounds like a line from another movie.
I
can't think.
No.
It's on the tip of my tongue. I don't know if it's like a Bill Murray line when he's like repeating the word like
believe.
That. No, I don't know if it's believe. It's a different word. The enemy is my enemy is my enemy.
Enemy.
Yes.
Yeah, that one.
There you go.
And the whole line, like, I'll have 2 10s for a 5.
Now, I'll tell you right now, 2 of the tricks that they do here are Abbott and Costello.
Oh,
they've done it. So they've done that one, the 2 10s for a 5. They've also done the other one later on where they say pick a number between, tell me a number, like pick a number, and that's from an Abbott and Costello routine.
Yeah. Between 1 and 10?
Yep.
Is it between 1 and 3? No. Is it between 4 and 5? No. Is it between 7 and 9? Yes. Oh, it's 8.
And they literally like do that with Abbott Costello. So I think they took both of those from one of their movies.
And I tried it on my dumb staff where I work, and they didn't fall for it. So
they didn't.
People are really dumb.
Did you try both? Well, there's 3 of them. Did you try all 3 of them?
I tried all 3.
And none of them worked?
No, I didn't get that 10,
Did you lose any money?
Yeah, dimes. I gave away dimes.
Oh my God. So then we get to this is what oh my God. So my notes, it's funny when you're writing while you're doing it, because I never go back and change it when I know something, but I wrote do you think Horatio tells his friends he's in this movie? And then I wrote, no, he's a horse. I was like, why? Again, this is where the first time I said, like, he's not a pony. And that is like, oh my God, that's what kills it for me.
Well, You made me think of a line he says later on to the girl when you were just saying that. Like, does he tell his friends when he actually goes? So you mean I've been talking to you all this time and you haven't been hearing me?
Yeah. I've been telling you these jokes all the years, and he remembers like all the stories that she told him as a
see. Now this would be a better movie if he was trying to be a stand-up comedian, because all he really does is tell jokes. So like if like the movie was him trying like going to different nightclubs and telling jokes.
What if he saved the friggin' farm by entering like America's Got
That's what I mean. So now it's a better movie. He's a stand-up comedian. Like they have like Jerry Seinfeld in the movie, and they're like, all right, here we go, our new act. Horatio.
That's not how they save the farm at all.
That would have been good.
It would have been good. See, now it would have been a good movie.
Doug, write that down.
So this is where I wrote. So out of nowhere, we get like this weird. The music change in this movie is wild because there's this one part that Juliet and Kim, played by Kristine Debell, she's like pouring out to Juliet like about what's going on with Mr. Beetle, and the music gets really upbeat, and then she's like, maybe Mr. Beetle will buy the place, fix it up, and let us run it. Foreshadowing. And I'm like, run what? They have one horse this whole time. And this is the first time right after the scene, Juliet leaves. Boom. The first time we get the riding montage, which even the first one was so long. And I think that's why I mentioned before, what made it so funny for me personally was every time like you saw the end of a scene, you're like, oh, it's going to be over now.
No. And you're right. The first and the second montage were two different ones, but then the third one went back to the first one. And like, that's how like they started repeating it. And back to the brothers again, real quick. Why is he walking around with all that money in the first place? Again, they live in the middle of nowhere, except for the area where the horse walks. Like why is he walking around with all that money? And what, again, I want to know. I want a backstory. I want a backstory on the two brothers, why he has all that money.
Drugs.
That's a movie.
Well,
that's a different movie.
He sells it to his brother. That's why the other brother has no money, because he buys all the drugs.
Yeah.
A spinoff to this be like creepy brothers ?
See, I like horse comedian ?
That would be a good spinoff.
Yes.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See detail.
But no, the one thing I wrote that was like the biggest like FU to the audience was during all those montages. Again, they repeated them. I get it. They needed to hit a certain time and they shot it in 2 days. I'm totally fine with that. But the fact that we had to watch the horse by itself drink water, and I counted 7 seconds, and then I'm thinking it's going to be over, and then it's just him running around by himself.
He starts by himself for no reason, just galloping around.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the montage coming up when she gets hit in the head, right, with the horseshoe, which we're going to get to in about 2 seconds, right? That's the next scene.
No. Next is we meet Mr. Beetle, officially meet Mr. Beetle. So then, but before that, we cut to stock waterfall, and so then we have Mr. Beetle, played by Jason Faunt. So he wants to change the farm into a mall, and his son goes, "But Dad, animals live in the trees." And he says, "Haha, of course animals, but what if they ran the world? What kind of world would that be?"
I'll tell you, as much as I hated this movie, I think the only bright spot were some of the scenes with Beetle.
Yeah, he was funny, right?
Some of it. I mean, some of it was a little over the top. But I'll give them, there were like 2 or 3 that I was like, a very slight giggle came out of me, not enough to like the movie at all, but he is a bright spot in a really crappy movie.
Nature is unnatural. what you're talking about, or
just this? Well, actually, there's actually 2 animals on the farm. By the way, there's also a bee.
There's a bee that follows him.
that was funny.
So the whole deer crossing joke, that was from an NPR call or like a local radio call from like the late 2000s or early 2010s. Because I remember that when the lady called up and she said, well, why do we have this deer crossing sign? You're just asking the deer to cross there. If it wasn't there, they wouldn't cross. And I love that was in this joke. It was,
but did they hit the deer? Did they hit the deer?
Yeah, well, I don't know. They hit something.
Okay, so again, the movie for 7+, and they run over a deer.
Yeah.
Well, in Bambi, they shoot a deer.
Okay, again, it's cartoon. This is.
What does it matter? Blood's blood.
What does it matter? It's a cartoon. This is real. This is a kid's mind is a real deer.
They didn't show it.
They basically showed like a screeching car. You know, they showed everything.
Whoa. They didn't show any car get damaged because they could not afford it. All you heard was,
and the fact that the car drove up, no damage at all. It looked like the car went off the road too.
Excuse me. And then after that, slide whistle, cut to water. Yep. So then the brothers want their money back, and now they do the old guess the number trick that Tom broke down before. Jamie said the Abbott and Costello, and then here's the horseshoe. The whole trip. So, Jamie, did he make that happen?
Okay.
Did Horatio make the horseshoe fall?
First of all, the horseshoe is supposed to be standing up. It was upside down because horseshoes are good luck, right? So when you have a horseshoe down, all the good luck runs out.
That's because it dangled. It got knocked off.
It moved?
Yeah. Somebody slammed the door and it moved.
So, first of all, that looks exactly like the horseshoe they had.
It was. This is plastic.
That's exactly. It was either that or cardboard that they had. Wait, so you're saying the horseshoe was standing straight up at one point?
At one point.
It was?
And somebody hit the door and it fell down.
Okay, see, that must have been, maybe
one of the Babbling Brook scenes.
Yeah, I might have dozed off in that part. So, okay. But so the fact that the horseshoe was upside down and hit her, she should have gotten bad luck.
Yeah.
And instead, she got kind of good luck.
Not for nothing. No, not good luck because it didn't help anything. It was bad luck. She had to listen to the jokes.
You know what? After I said that, I'm thinking like, you know what? Maybe it is bad luck because all those corny jokes you had to stop listening to. Okay. All right. You're right. It is bad luck. Okay. Never mind. I stand corrected.
She had to be in this movie.
But that horseshoe, I think, was made of cardboard.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounded real with the zonks and his, every time.
There was a good zonk on that one. And then the fact that she's like passed out and then Mr. Beetle arrives and they introduce and she goes, Kim. And he goes, that's short for Kimberly. And then he goes, my first ex-wife's name was Bev. Short for Beverly? No, beverage. Parents were heavy drinkers.
And right before that, he said, you have trees growing out of the ground? That's unnatural. That's disturbing.
Well, you also missed the part where after she got hit in the head, she said, and she hears the horse talking. She's still unsure about it. And she goes, you know what? I need to get medical help. And the next scene is a montage of her and the horse walking around like she never left. And think about this. So, now the rest of the movie, she's talking to this horse. Not once is she talking to the horse. Instead of talking to the horse and having a conversation, she keeps walking the horse in circles.
I know.
And they're not talking at all.
Riding, patting, feeding.
Right.
Conversation.
But literally, this horse just talked to her. She needs to get help, and she goes right to a montage.
I know, right into a montage. And I love it. She's like, when did you start talking? Amazing. And then he even says, she goes, I'm hallucinating. I hear horse voices. And Horatio says, horse voice? Ooh, do they sound like me? He does have, I'm telling you, most of them are just corny pun jokes, but there's some that just like kind of fit when she's like, why can you understand me? And he's like, well, speaking French. She goes, why? He's like, I don't speak French.
He was almost like a Henny Youngman, Rodney Dangerfield, like with the one-line zingers. Like it was, and they're all old, corny, like dad jokes. And he just like that's what he came out with. I mean, just the long face in a bar. I mean, it's such an old joke. It's ridiculous.
It's Rodney Dangerfield for children.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, it would have been fun if he said, "Hey, That was my Rocky doing Dangerfield.
That was like Rocky as Rodney for Halloween.
How about Beetle not drinking water?
Well, what he said, animals poop in it and it rusts pipes.
Yeah. W.C. Fields said that, and Beetle's like, "Oh, that guy was a genius," and his kid's like, "He was comedian, Dad." Like,
well, okay, so you have a W.C. Fields joke. W.C. Fields was around like 1950, 1940. Like he was an old-time comedian. That's what you throw into a seven plus. Like you couldn't find someone a little bit more relevant. You have an old-time comedian.
Yeah, that he loves, and his kid knows about, and realizes that he's making the joke about.
Well, the kid also knows Mr. Ed song, so I mean, he definitely has old time in his in his mind. He's an old timer.
He has an old soul.
Of course.
Of course.
That's where the of course comes in.
No, but maybe because maybe the timer ran out on like having to pay royalties after 60 years, so they needed to save money on the budget. I don't know. I have no idea. But even the whole part with like Wes, so like right away, Wes is into Juliet, which again, I don't blame him.
But it looks. I mean, he definitely tries too hard. Like he shows it. Like he doesn't have a poker face. I mean, the minute she walked up, he was smitten, and he looked like he's never seen a girl before.
She's never seen a boy before.
Well,
I don't think so.
She had two brothers.
Yeah, but boys that she'd be like into, not in a.
Well, you said it's only stepbrothers, so you don't know.
It's true. But it's so weird. She like fell in love. Well, we'll get to that later. But no, he was in love with her, and I get it. Maybe he's. I'm sick of city girls, right? The city that's only 5 minutes down the highway,
which is cheap, by the way, to live in.
Very.
And then Juliet talks about Horatio because she wants to tell everybody about Horatio. And she goes, and he's like, I would love to meet him. I think horses are awesome. You think horses are awesome?
And then the father calling him out in front of her. He goes, since when you like horses?
Amazing. Honestly. And then this is the part I wrote, wait, they all just said talking horse 5 times. They all said talking horse. Even at that point, like, he might be into her because she's super attractive. But if she starts spouting about talking to a horse, at this point, aren't you ready to, like, I don't know, run or tell your dad, like, hey, let's get out of here?
Absolutely. So, I mean, but again, he looks like he's never seen a girl before. So, maybe he doesn't know better.
Maybe he doesn't.
They're going for a tour on the property, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Beetle's walking around with a briefcase the entire time.
Business, baby.
He's business the whole time. There's no play.
Monty Beetle.
Monty.
Well, did you catch the green thumb line? He goes, I forget why it came up. Oh, my husband had a green thumb. He goes, is that what killed him?
Yeah. That is what happened.
That is good. Here's a milestone in the movie. I wrote, first cut to non-water. Nope. In between trees, we see water. There was like one cut that it was like really like panned down. You're like, oh, it's just trees. And then water in the distance, like in the middle of them.
I would almost believe that Mr. Beetle is the father of the 2 boys.
Oh, I believe that.
They have the same mentality.
Yeah.
There might be a backstory to that.
Whoa.
Could you imagine that?
I mean,
him and Kristine know each other.
They don't talk about her husband. I mean, they talk about the new husband, but have the first husband.
I don't know. How'd he die?
He was a cat.
Mr. Beetle.
Maybe Horatio ate him.
Well, we also at this point get the first B where he says, "Away from me, you fly spawn."
Yeah.
And he uses that line, I think, a few times in the movie.
He does, yeah.
3 times.
Even later, when you think he changes, he uses that line like a second later. How about the scene with the guess the number? Did that remind you of Vegas Vacation or?
Oh, without a doubt.
It was the Native American casino all over.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, like they literally threw out every dad joke, every dad trick, it was just so corny, so stupid.
Can you name a number between 1 and 10?
I can't, See, I would have guessed 4. So, to show you how off I am.
4.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it was 5. So.
For listeners, he put up a 5. So then we get Kim is walking around showing around Mr. Beetle in his briefcase, and she notices that he's walking a little weird. So she known him for what, 5 minutes, 10 minutes? She touches his neck and notices that he has a huge knot. And she's like, whoa, that's the biggest knot I ever felt.
Barely touched him to notice the knot.
And he basically fell to the ground. Like,
well, no, that was later on. That was later on.
All right.
He fell twice in the movie?
Well, that's when he almost falls because she touched it. And he was showing how painful.
Okay, you're right.
Oh, you hurt me.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And she's like, oh, well, let me fix that knot. And all right, Doug, continue.
Let me tell you, for a guy who's supposedly very successful and very on top of things, he really is like a wuss.
But he has doctors. That's, I think, his next line. I have multiple doctors in New York City.
Is this what Dr.
Well,
Hurt?
no, I don't think he says New York City. I think this whole movie, it's referred to as the city, right?
Wait, so is this where he goes, Dr. Hurt?
I'm sorry, you're right.
You're right? Is it that where he says
Dr. Hurt is the doctor?
Dr. Hurt is a doctor. Yeah. And then she goes, you got to be kidding me. And then she goes, what's your dentist name? Dr. Cavity?
Yeah.
I was waiting for him to say, you know him too? See, that would have been funny. That's
based on that, yeah.
See, I think they blew a chance on that one because he's like, well, don't make fun of me or something like that. They didn't have a joke with that, but to me, that would have been very funny. That would have been.
He is pretty much John Travolta Bubble Boy. He's allergic to everything. Even when she gives him that tea later, he's like, what's in this? Because I can't have sugar. I can't have this. I can't have this. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, relax. You're not going to die.
That's what I mean. This guy's a super successful guy, and he's just so and his son is obviously smarter than him. I mean, because he keeps saying, yeah, he's, you can't deal with it. He never smiles. He doesn't shake hands. He doesn't, the son seems pretty smart,
Yeah. Can I tell you, after this, the son went on to do a lot of stuff.
Really?
2 years after this, he became a regular star on Days of Our Lives, over 100 episodes.
Oh, wow.
And he was on Netflix's Insatiable for 15, 20 episodes.
I don't think he was a bad actor.
No,
I mean, yeah, I think I think he really tried to act in this role for what it's worth. I think everybody else is kind of corny. I think the mom did a pretty good job. I mean, but I think because he played the serious role, the kid, and I actually think I think he did the best of what he had in this movie.
And Juliet.
No, Juliet did good. I think they all did good except the brothers. I'll take them all.
I think they all did the best they could what they had, but I mean, I don't know about Juliet. I mean, I put her in the same category as the brothers.
No.
Yeah. Listen, you're taking how she looks and bypassing how she acts.
I'm not that kind of person.
I disagree with that.
So this is where she shows Wes Horatio, and she's laughing, and she's saying, Horatio, say something else. And he's like, something else. And then she's like, wait, you can't hear him? He's telling stand-up jokes.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? That whole scene.
Well, she kept laughing before he did the punchline.
Oh no, I love that. Yeah.
So he says like 3 jokes that he can't get through because she keeps like laughing before he does it. Like makes him look like a fool.
Yeah. I even wrote, Juliet's hot enough. If she told me, hey, I talked to my horse, I would still go on a date with her. I'd be like, that's fine. You talk to a horse, that's great. I talked to my cat, that's fine.
He didn't seem that concerned about it.
No, and then how about this? What was the weirdest part about it is from all this interaction, how in the hell because Wes offers to help bring Horatio back, but then I know where it cuts right to a montage and Wes is nowhere to be found. Was he watching? They didn't even show him watching.
There is no rhyme or reason why the montages happen outside of just space filler for the movie.
And I'm pretty sure it's number 7 of the movie.
I wouldn't doubt it. And again, there's no reason for all those, but I think it's just they threw them in there. Like, they don't fit in the scenes at all. Again, she went to get medical help, and the next scene she's walking the horse. So I think they just threw it in there and just as filler, and maybe thought the audience won't notice.
And that's number 7 of horse walking, not of water.
Wow, it's number 7 horse. Yeah. No, and then I wrote this was cut to a field of grain. Nope, more water.
Yeah, water I think is on 12.
Wow.
Horse 7, water 12, I think.
So now we get Mr. Beetle's talking to Kim. And I wrote, he knows her for 20 minutes, okay? And he feels comfortable enough to say, ever get Juliet looked at? I know a team of doctors. Like the balls on someone. First of all, you're trying to buy this property from them. You're going to insult them and say, hey, your daughter's a whack job. Let me introduce you to some doctors that can help her out.
I mean, Mr. Beetle, he's pretty intelligent. He knows what's right.
Well, I don't know if he's really intelligent. He's successful. I would say he's very successful.
Okay.
But he's not.
Well, I do like his version of the joke with the 2 brothers when they say, hey, can I get 2 10s for 5? And he gives him 2 dimes.
Yes, that was my joke earlier. 2 dimes for a $5 bill. That's brilliant.
So he's smarter. I mean, as dumb as he is, he's smarter than the brothers.
Yeah.
Because he fooled the brothers.
Hard.
Well, he's pretty dumb. He didn't understand the whole deer sign. That whole sequence which was about 5 minutes long.
Never been outside. Ever.
You know what? It almost does seem like he's never been outside before.
Yeah.
He's the Bubble Boy. He's John Travolta, the Bubble Boy.
Is.
Yeah.
So then we cut to this is a historic achievement in this movie. We cut to Wes and Juliet talking. Boom. No transition at all. That was the first time in this whole movie. We go from the 2 dimes, that joke, right to Wes and Juliet talking. That was pretty big. And
this is where things get a little weird. They start to get a little weird.
Now?
It does get very weird.
Well, no, there's a lot of weird scenes, but there's a few like in a row come up between these 2 and the mom and Beetle. Things start getting pretty weird.
Oh,
it does get pretty weird.
And again, this is for a 7-year-old movie. There's a lot of innuendos coming up.
I wrote, this horse knows every horse joke ever, because even one, he talks about if you go to jail, I'll bail you out. Get it? Bail of hay?
Yeah. That's bad. That's real bad.
And he also said, I'm afraid you are saddled with me.
Oh, yes.
And then from this, we get a cut to stock water. And again, Kim offers Mr. Beetle the massage, and he actually gives in. Sort of. She forces herself on him.
There was a lot of sexual tension in the scene. And it's all coming from the mom. Like, she even said, like, you miss things when they're gone or something like that, or you miss certain things when your spouse is gone or something like that. Like, and then it was like, it just, things got awkward. Very, very awkward. And later he says after the massage, because we're on this now, but
the line he says later, because she's like, I miss my husband. I miss him for this.
Yes.
And he goes, yeah, I miss my ex-wife. I miss her back massages. That's it. That's all he misses is when she used to massage his back. That's it.
Well, let's play this out a little bit, because I think, we obviously something went on between them when he walks out. I mean, it wasn't just tea. Let's put it that way. But if they're together and Wes and Juliet are together, I know that's her stepmom, but that would be her brother or stepbrother / husband if they got married.
I'll allow it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess when you're down, is it taking place in the South?
It looks like California.
Let's say farm. So I guess how they do it on the farm.
That's how they do
They're
it.
They're the farm rules.
But wasn't it weird the fact that she offered the massage and then we got a hard cut to a horse montage?
Oh, well, of course. It's only been 5 minutes since the last one, so we have to have
And then
another
from
one.
that, we get a horse montage, and then immediately after that, cut to water. So like no dialogue, just like cuts and cuts and cuts from there.
There's a water scene after every horse montage. Like right, every scene where the water was, it was right after a horse montage.
You can lead a horse to water.
Well, he already says that joke.
I know.
He does.
This was Nature Cut number 13 and Horse Cut 14.
No, he says that joke wrong. Because that's
correct.
when Wes realizes
Correct.
that he could hear him. Yeah. So now we're on Wes when he goes, hey, there has to be a logical explanation for you talking to a horse. And dude, right from there is when, dude, what? This is what's crazy about this whole thing is because there's so many cuts. You're like, where are you in this movie? Like, are we about to get to the point that he's going to find out? No, from there, that's what's weird about it. Because we see these little bite-sized things that nothing is getting ready to happen really. And then they cut right to the brothers.
Yeah.
Like the brothers are like, they're ready to prank them.
Right before the buildup, like it's a constant, like it's almost like, but that's throughout the whole movie. Like every time it's like something else, it's like, all right, wait, we have to bring the brothers in. They haven't been on in 5 minutes, so we have to bring them on. Or we haven't had the horse montage. Let's do that. Like it's almost like whoever's cut the movie together, they just started throwing things, and how it landed.
I think so.
I'd rather have the brothers than the horse montage. Jesus Christ.
But you know what? Even with the horse montage, she's with Wes. You would think, all right, maybe Wes and her could walk the horse together.
Exactly.
That would make sense.
No.
Throw Wes, they could ride the horse together. That would make sense.
Well, he wasn't in the first montage, so the loop wouldn't have worked.
They shot that day one. Wes was there day two.
Also, real quick on the horse montage, did y'all watch her walking past a branch that she swayed at that wasn't really there?
What?
3 or 4 times she's riding the horse and she does this, but there's no branch there. And it's 4 times recut into those montage things.
I gotta check that out. I will check that out. I own the movie now. 99 cents.
So do I. I can't believe this is part of my library.
Yeah, me too. 99 cents.
They should be paying us to watch this, first of all.
No, I think it's a good deal. The fact that to rent it is the same price. I clicked on rent. And I'm like, no way, man. I want this.
I would be embarrassed if I was Amazon Prime and this is in my category. Like, if this isn't part of my movie, I have The Godfather and Star Wars and a talking pony.
What if this is like an episode of like Law and Order SVU, and Stabler finds your dead body and you're watching, and your phone died when you were getting ready for this episode, and they have to announce to like the public and your family what was he doing in his dying moments? He was watching this movie called Talking Pony. And then Munch is like, and then friggin' Ice-T's there too. He's like, Talking Pony, cool shit.
Yeah.
And then they said he died by horrible movie. That was the death. It is. Listen, and I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it at the end of the movie. This is definitely the top 3 worst movies we've seen.
No.
Oh yeah. And it might be number 1.
Wait, you didn't like it?
Ugh.
Loved it. Now we have Horatio the horse that's basically saying to Juliet, hey, if you want him to hear me, maybe we got to do the horseshoe and you got to bang him in the head with it.
Knock him out.
Oh my gosh. And how hard she hits him without him like.
Okay. You know, I have a problem with the scene because, you know, Juliet, she should have hit him really. I mean, she hit him hard, but I mean, all right, just give him the one small whack. No, she hits him 4 times. Like, I'd rather have one big whack in the head.
She's not going to hit him hard the first time.
Well, she did hit him hard the first time.
Not the first time.
Oh, the little dick. Well, okay, listen. First of all, it fell off the wall and hit her and knocked her out. So, I mean, it didn't hit her hard. So, you know, why does she have to really smack the crap out of him with it?
Women are more susceptible to brain injury. Scientific fact.
What?
It is.
It's a fact?
Yeah. Under 14 years old, they don't allow them to do headers in soccer.
What scientist said that?
All of them.
Kevorkian.
No, but the fact that this is like a David Berkowitz situation that she's like, what if this movie turned dark right here and she murders him and this horse is using her to fulfill his thirst for blood.
Instead of a talking dog, it's a talking horse.
Yes, it is.
And she's interesting. Interesting. Well, she does say, I think I killed him.
I know she does.
So while we're here, though, the brothers later, they realize what's going on. They knock each other in the head with the horseshoe, right?
Yeah, but wait, that's later on. We still have the dream sequence and everything.
All right.
And the awkward licking.
All right, let's awkward lick first.
Okay, let's awkward lick first. But I love that she says, this is the first guy I actually like. And then from there, like you said, Wes, great acting, because I laughed my ass off in this scene when he's having his dream sequence.
Oh, when he's talking to the trees and grass?
Oh,
Trees
the tree that says... Wait, you're talking about the tree that he says, I see you branching out all over?
The one-liners in this movie are just so ridiculous.
But they're funny. Like, you gotta like take it with this is like the perfect like stoner, have a few drinks. The fact that when he's walking in the grass afterwards and like, ow, watch out. And he's like, sorry, blades of grass. And then the fact that he continues walking. He only thinks one blade of grass can feel his steps.
Well, maybe there's only one blade of grass that's alive that could talk to him.
Wow.
Whoa.
Deep.
That is deep. And he happened to land on that one blade. Listen, they have to have these one-liners because if a parent is going to sit there through this 45-minute movie, they have to have some kind of like laughter here and there.
I agree. That's like every movie, like Toy Story 2 had that scene they had to cut out. Like at the end of the movie, they did like the casting couch with Bo Peep. I watch these shows with Emerson all the time. And it's just like, how would they get away with it? Because at a certain age, you don't get it, you know?
Well, go watch old Bugs Bunny. I mean, you know, you watch Bugs Bunny back in the day, there's so many adult jokes. I mean, and tons of innuendos, you know, and they're funny. I mean, even to this day, they're funny. I get it, but this is no Bugs Bunny.
No.
It's close.
Oh, God.
So in Wes's dream, Juliet, this is his dream, right? Dream.
Yeah.
He's at the same place in his own dream, and Juliet's sprinting around in a dress. No bikini or no beach, no resort.
He's
penthouse.
never seen a girl before, so he might be Amish. But he's never seen a girl before, and it is rated. I mean, listen, it's a 7-year-old movie plus. They're not going to have a bikini. They're not allowed.
I don't know. You mentioned Rodney before, and there's a very sexualized dream sequence in what's the one? Ladybugs.
Oh man. Yes, there is.
So then we have the licking.
That was so weird. The way I at first I'm like, is she really gonna lick his face? Like, you know, like it was kind of, and then the way they did it was she was like 5 feet away.
Yeah,
it looked so ridiculous.
Of course, it's fake.
And And we talked about it before. The way he hears, when he realizes he hears Horatio, is with the lead the horse to water. You can't make him think. I think. Oh no, you can't make him blink. He says Horatio does. And he goes, no, it's drink. And then he's like, oh, thank you. I should have known that. I'm a horse. And he's like, no, it's okay. And she's like, who are you talking to? And he's like, boom. He can hear the horse now. So two people can hear this horse, not a pony, a horse.
So now you're thinking, all right, you know what? Now the movie's going to get to where they're going to save the day. They got the talking horse, two people, it's like all this time you're thinking like, maybe this is a whole dream sequence with Juliet. Maybe, because she got hit in the head, she doesn't know what's going on. Maybe the horse is not really talking, it just all in her mind. Now a second person is doing it. Cause I thought possibly it could be a dream sequence, the whole movie.
Wow.
Like Wizard of Oz. She got hit in the head and then she dreamed everything was going on. But
wait.
Plan.
Wes passes out as soon as he realizes that Horatio's talking to him. He collapses once again.
Well, he probably has a concussion because she smacked him about 4 times in the head with the horseshoe. She shouldn't, and that's why he passed out pretty quick afterwards. Like he's still, not stable.
But only hard.
Stable? Horse stable?
Meanwhile,
Horse stable.
when Wes wakes up, and how old is Wes?
I guess the same age, 16.
Well, she said I have a daughter around your age. She said.
Oh, okay.
How old is Wes? 16?
16, 17?
Wes says he thinks he has a hangover. Has he ever drunk before?
I don't know. I drank younger than 16, so let's not talk about it.
All right, let's skip over that. Next.
So then we get Mr. Beetle. I wrote Mr. Beetle's feeling good. I was like, did they bang?
The way he walked out of there has that glow. He had that glow. Like he had that, it's almost like, he hasn't had it in a long time. Who knows how long ago his wife died, or I don't know. Did she die or she
left him? No, he said my ex-wives.
Okay. So yeah. Okay. So, but I'm guessing it's been a long time. That's why he was kind of awkward around the mom, and he walked out of there the first time in a long time, and he was feeling the sun rays.
If he would have been smoking, that would have been pretty funny. I don't even smoke.
Yeah. Nature cut number 14 right before that, by the way.
There was number 14?
Yep.
So then
Beetle is allergic to everything?
Yeah.
Except fruit.
Not anymore, though. The tea cured him.
Right. The tea has cured him.
Because now he can smell fresh air.
Before that, everything except fruit. How do you live if you're allergic to everything except fruit?
And he lives in a bubble.
Well, okay.
He's Bubble Boy.
But he's cured now that he's a new man. He's a new man. Yeah. She made him a new man.
She cleaned his pipes. She cleaned his nostrils.
Well, don't forget, his pipes are rusted because he didn't drink a lot of water. So
he didn't drink any water.
So he's refreshed now.
And then you can tell they had a special moment because she goes, "You can call me Kim," and he goes,
"Yes,
call me Monty."
Yep.
So all this time, so they spent a long time together. I mean, long enough that his son got knocked out twice. There were two dreams. There were 2 dream sequences. A few montages of walking a horse. That's pretty. Long time. A scam with the brothers again, and they didn't know each other's names.
Yeah,
it's actually been 6 hours.
It's been a long time.
It's still light out. Oh, actually, Kimberly introduces herself as Kim in the very beginning and says, "You can call me Kim." And he dismisses it. So this is the moment that he calls her Kim, and he's like, "All right,
he's kind of dick to her. So then that's why I think she said, "But you can call me Mrs. Bell." Yeah, she was kind of "Fuck you, dude."
But it comes full circle. Now he's a changed man.
He's a changed man.
He's literally acting like a 16, 17-year-old boy who got it for the first time. Life is different.
Yep.
That's how, because I mean, even his son noticed a change in him. Like, I mean, so yeah, he has a glow. That's not just from a massage and tea.
So then right from this sexual scene, we cut to Horatio telling Juliet to kiss Wes, like the stories that she is to read to him.
Yeah, to wake him up.
And that was...
But didn't he mention something about kissing when you practice kissing me or something? Or I thought he said something like that.
Yes.
No.
Just like you did when you used to kiss me.
Yes. See?
He said that.
Not in the mouth, right?
Who knows? But I said that early in the movie. So that, again, his name is Horatio. He's a horse.
Felicio,
Horse?
you're going there?
I am going there. And you practice kissing him. Well, first of all, don't you practice kissing on a pillow?
I don't know. What'd you practice kissing on?
I don't have any pillows.
I used to have we had a mannequin. So I would use a mannequin. Yeah, I would use a mannequin.
You were just hoping Kim Cattrall would just one day.
Well, listen, it can't hurt to try. I mean, worst case scenario, I just change the wigs.
And then you were kicked out of that mall for good, right? You're banned for life.
All right, there's more malls. Is that that wasn't the only mall?
More malls. And then I love that she kisses him and he wakes up, and the fact that he says it again, he confirms it. He goes, "A horse is talking to me."
Oh yeah.
And that's it right there. I don't understand what. That's the one thing wrong with this movie. One thing that's wrong with this movie is the fact that it's called a talking pony.
Again, there's a question mark, so they weren't sure.
And 2 exclamation points.
Yes. Well, I mean, that just shows you how much they weren't sure. Because
how would you say that out loud? How would you say it like a talking pony?
Ah!
Yes, you got to have a little yell at the end. But yes, I mean, well, was it the same thing for the talking cat? Was there an exclamation?
Yep, same thing.
Oh, okay.
And there's
that's what makes it a sequel. The same
title,
special
same
characters.
That's what makes it a sequel.
Well, the father, the talking horse is the father in the first movie.
Yeah.
So he became a horse.
That's what they should have done. Like he died from
and became
not in the first one, but the fact that he was.
So who else is in the first one? Just the father?
The mother.
Kristine Debell.
Oh, they both are.
But it's a different story.
But you watched it too?
I read up on it.
You're a closet talking cat, talking horse fan. Or talking pony.
I like talking cats of all kinds.
Okay.
Whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Amazon, whether
do you own cats?
Well, not right now.
So you just like other people's cats,
especially if they talk.
Okay.
Are you down with OPC? Other people's cats.
OPC.
Yeah, you know me. So then Wes goes, "This discovery is more important than a shopping mall." But then I thought, okay, they can move the horse unless they think that the horse's special talents would only happen on that, little area near the highway.
So you think the horse is sort of like the frog in Bugs Bunny? Hello, my lady. Hello, my,
That'd be great. Michigan J. Yes.
Well, should have been.
It's very possible. But I mean, I see where they see there's a lot of money here, but they kind of make mention to it that in order for people to see the horse, they'd have to get hit by the horseshoe.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is almost impossible to really do.
No, you just go around the crowd and knock them all out.
So you pay admission to see a talking horse, but you got to get the concussion first to do it.
Well,
one ticket, please.
Based on the kids, the brothers, they didn't get knocked out. Doug, reel us in.
No, we will. No, the brothers. We guess we mentioned.
Well, you know what? Listen, the brothers already had scrambled egg brains to begin with,
exactly.
So I think
that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, so I think that's the difference. I think because in anything, it might have knocked some sense into them. because they made it become a horror movie because they ran away from the horse because he was telling too many jokes.
Yeah,
like this could have been a horror movie.
But so now that they have sense, they can hear the horse?
They do.
Is that the rules?
I don't know. Are there rules?
I don't think there's any rules.
Nah, there's no rules. No rules.
I did laugh a lot when the next scene the brothers show up when they're like, I have to get to my mom and tell her not to sell the farm. And he's like, I have to get my dad because he's gonna want to knock this thing into them all. And the brothers like, we want to win our money back. And the fact that it does guess the card out of a deck, and not for nothing, I don't think Horatio is standing behind them.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So we need to talk about this. So does he have special powers now? So besides the fact that he's a talking horse, he can read cards, or you can see cards.
This is the only part that made sense to me.
This scene made sense to you. Please explain.
He's behind them. So
No, but I don't think he was. If you look behind them,
Correct.
it was the end of the fence.
Correct. He wasn't behind them. I mean, now that would have made sense. That would have been the smart thing to do, but I don't think.
Of course, yeah. If they would have leaned against the fence with their back,
course.
Of course.
But yes, that would have been that would have made complete sense. But no, I agree with Doug. They were facing the fence. The two brothers.
Basically, he wasn't there.
He wasn't there. He was in front of the brothers.
So that's just
I think the way they were trying to go was if the horse was behind them, but because they only had 48 hours to film, I guess they didn't go back and check it because he wasn't behind them, because that would make sense. That would have looked so much better. You see the horse like studying the card and reading it and doing it. Fine. Yeah. But he literally used ESP or whatever to see the cards, which completely did not make sense.
Yeah.
I did laugh because, again, like you said, I think Wes, maybe that's why from this he went to be in two pretty big shows. The one on Netflix, Insatiable, was pretty big, and on Days of Our Lives. The fact that she does it and she guesses the two cards, and then they're like, no, how about you, pretty boy? How about you do it? I love it. He's like, oh, I don't know. I guess I'll have to take a wild guess. King of Diamonds? He's like real serious.
I really do think that I think Wes was the best actor in the movie.
Wow.
You know, I again, given what he's taken, I think
rank him right now. Rank him. It doesn't take long.
Okay, rank him. I would say okay. So I'm gonna go. Wes is definitely number one. I'm gonna go. The mom was number two.
Okay,
I think she was good. The father for comedy purpose. I mean, the whatever. Beetle.
Mr. Beetle.
Number three. Number three. Then I go Juliet. Then I go the shorter brother.
Wait, no horse? Where's the horse?
Oh. I barely saw his mouth move. No, he wasn't a good actor. Okay. So let's go back to something we discuss all the time. Is the horse in SAG? I mean, he had a starring role in this movie.
It could have been because even though it's stock footage, that horse walked around for 40 minutes of this movie. It just kept moving.
Does he get paid in carrots?
Well, whatever.
14 carat?
He ate 6 times in this movie. Did you not see that?
Hey.
Hey. So then I love when Mr. Beetle's like they're sitting at the table, Mr. Beetle, when they go over the contract. And she's like, I emailed to my lawyers and they loved it. They said I'd be crazy if I wouldn't do it. But when he goes, magic fingers, great decorator, do you cook? She's like, that's the one thing I don't do. But I make a mean lasagna. And then in like a few scenes later, he's like, I guess I'll learn to love lasagna. Dude, they're going to be together, right? You think?
Oh, well, hold on. Without a doubt, they're together. But let's go back to what she said. So number one, lasagna is not easy to make because, you got to make a sauce. You got to do, that. That's a hard meal to make. But if she doesn't cook, what do they eat?
Like Juliet said, they don't eat much.
And Juliet said, of course, and she did say typical or something like that in the beginning of the movie. But what do they eat? There's no father. Apparently Juliet doesn't cook. The brothers don't cook.
So now you said that there's no animals there. Maybe they used to have animals.
Eat 'em all?
They're eating the pigs. They're eating the cows.
Yeah, but she doesn't cook, so they eat them raw.
What?
She doesn't cook. So even if there were animals there and she ate them raw.
Yeah, who's going to cut them?
My husband's died.
You think she ate her husband too?
Well, I don't know.
So there's a bunch of cannibals, this movie? All right, now we got a movie worth watching. We got a horse comedian and a bunch of cannibals. Yeah. He's telling jokes to a bunch of cannibals. That's a good horror movie.
I like that. Yeah, the fact that all the pigs are gone, I don't know.
So then we already mentioned this, the two Demi brothers, they've sort of barely hit each other with the horseshoes. Now they can hear Horatio and his bad jokes. And what about the joke? Again, I get pun jokes. I get it. But is it really funny to mention what a horse's favorite disease is? Because he says, a horse's favorite sickness is hay fever.
Hay fever.
I'm like, is that really Jerry Seinfeld talking about, you know what I love? Smallpox.
I don't know if that's in the same category.
Have you seen this? Have you seen this? It's hay fever.
But so the brothers are more scared of the bad jokes than a talking horse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a problem is, right there. There's no shock value. They can hear the horse. It's the fact that he's telling bad jokes. That's the problem.
They run.
They run right past them while they're trying to. So Juliet and Wes are going back to the house because they want to stop them. And I love that the fact that they're like, Dad, Wes is like, Dad, you cannot knock this place down. It's special. There's a talking horse. And he's like, in order to hear it, you have to get hit in the head. But he's like, Dad, don't worry about the brain damage. It'll pass.
Yeah.
And again, you think you're going somewhere. Now, here's the climax of the movie. You think the movie's called Talking Pony.
I think they already climaxed.
Well, not everybody did.
Excuse me?
But
maybe the brothers. I don't know.
I think I have to change.
There might have been a little thing between them. I mean, they seem awfully close.
Yeah, they were.
And they also look awfully close in age.
They do. You were saying about climax in the movie?
Oh, I'm just saying, the Wes and Juliet finally make it up to the mom. Don't sell it. The horse is not relevant at all in this whole part. At all. So the point that the horse talks meant nothing the entire movie.
No, and the fact that it goes the next part, it was like, son, you're right. This place is wonderful. It's magical.
Yeah.
How about we open up Belle and Beetle's Wonder Ranch? And he goes, I'm not only the owner, I'm also a client.
And it's all about the tea and the massage about the ranch, how special the ranch is. No talk of a horse. The fact that this could have been like they mentioned Charlotte's Web before, like the talking pig. Right? Or so they could make it like a Charlotte's Web. Like, you know what? You have a talking pig. We have a talking horse. Like, people will come to see a talking horse. No.
What's the conflict of the movie?
Well, they're losing they're losing a non-farm.
No one's coming in the ranch.
No one's.
What's the resolution?
No one's going to come to the ranch.
Rich man buys the ranch. Is a talking pony any part of that?
Nothing.
No.
Nothing.
Zero.
Isn't that amazing? Like, really, like this whole movie. The only thing that would have made a little bit more sense if, like, the last scene now, Juliet wakes up from a dream and the mom said, listen, we're not selling. I talked to the banker, we're gonna, whatever, something like that. And that explains the horse talking.
Whole dream front to back.
Oh, that'd be like Newhart. That'd be like, could you imagine if the end of the movie is her saying, you know what, Juliet, the bank sent the wrong paperwork. It was a computer glitch. We're fine.
Listen, I'm trying to make something out of nothing. And I think that's the problem. Like, because of the way they ended it with the horse, that to me would be the only resolution. If they're not going to use the horse as a motivator for saving the farm, what else is the reason for the horse? Would be a dream.
Horatio, you were there, and brothers, you were there, and we made jokes, and you were there.
Oh, like in Wizard of Oz.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you how they could have ended it. The fact that Horatio starts going to nightclubs and telling jokes, and he becomes a big star, and he saves the ranch by being a top comedian.
That's a better movie. I've seen that on Comedy Central already. BoJack Horseman.
Oh yeah, BoJack Horseman. Yeah, Netflix, Comedy Central. Yeah. So then again, the right after the big news of them, he's going to buy the farm and keep everybody there so she could run it. They say, this is exciting. We have to tell Horatio. And he doesn't even think about it. He basically asked Kim on a date. He goes, I want to try that lasagna. I'm like, wait, their friggin' kids just said that they're going to tell a horse about this big moment.
Listen, they have one thing on their mind. They're not thinking about a horse.
And I do love Juliet's line, right? Breaking the fourth wall. She goes, Come on. We don't need another talking horse movie.
Or is that what she said? I thought it was like someone would make a movie about this or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Or yeah. That's funny.
No, Wes says that. Wes said it. People are going to exploit this place. And that's what I thought was going to happen with the brothers, because this is a scene where the brothers are running past. I thought the brothers are going to be already there starting to scheme something like, hey, meet this talking horse.
You know what? They kidnapped the horse, the brothers, because they want to make money. Now we got a chase going on. Like, again, that adds a little more to the movie. No. And where are the brothers running to? Because they run past the house and then it's kept running.
Away from the jokes. Away from the puns. So then the end of this movie, right from there, okay? So we see the brothers run past. Montage of Horatio running in circles to stock country music. And then it cuts right to the same montage of Juliet and the horse, and then rolls right into the credits, but not before Horatio talks directly to the audience.
Yeah, that's the fourth wall.
Boom.
I can't believe we got this long of a review out of this. Considering the movie's only 30 minutes long, our review is longer than the movie.
All right, so let's go to our guest first. That was a talking horse, pony, whatever you want to call it. Tom, would you recommend somebody to watch this film?
A normal person? No. I would not recommend anyone watch this film. I do hear that it has a following, much alike The Room has a following. People are loving Pony movie, and they're watching it, and they're throwing horseshoes at the screen, just like they're throwing spoons at the screen of The Room.
Wow! So this is like in the realm of Troll 2 in The Room. James, I think we struck gold.
So maybe this is a movie that people are going to watch.
Wow, this is going to put us on the map.
22-year-old college kids are watching this movie. Carry on.
So I think that's a semi-approval rating. Jamie?
I'm going to say nay.
Nay.
So I don't even know how to describe it. It looks like it was filmed on a cell phone. It's horrible. This movie is not watchable. It really isn't. And this is the first movie that I actually had to fast forward a few scenes because I couldn't take watching the water drip anymore. And
once I got to a point, I did the same thing because I was like,
right. So I after the first like 2 months, I think I made it to 2 montages of water and horse, and I'm like, wait a second, this is the same. When I realized there was a loop, I'm like, I'm just fast forwarding it, and literally like 3 minutes went by every single time I fast forwarded. And it's the only time I've done that in a review. I wanted to do it a few times in other reviews, but I actually did it here. So I'm going to say no. There may be a following. I don't know where you're going to find them. They might be hiding in hay or something. I mean, I don't know, but you're not going to. The movie's $1. I mean, there's a reason why it's only $1.
Hey.
I'm going to say yay. So what I was saying earlier is, again, I don't think it would change the way you look at it, but I bet you if you watch this movie, cut down, maybe get rid of a lot of the water montages, a lot of the horse montages, I can see this being like a Disney movie or like an ABC Family Freeform. You're shaking your head no, but hey, I'm going to say I enjoyed this movie. I loved Jonathan Whittaker's lines. A lot of the horse puns, again, they were corny. Some I never heard before, but I thought he was funny in his line delivery. Kristine Debell crushed it. I think this movie. It's a buck.
Okay. So again, I think part of the problem is the fact that one, it's called a horse and talking pony when it's a horse, and there's no need for you. If you took the horse out of this movie, the movie stays the same. So I mean, horse puns.
Pony owner's ranch.
It just doesn't. Again, the story doesn't add up to what you're thinking it is or what the story like. So I think if you cut it down, the fact that the horse is so irrelevant to the movie makes it even worse for me. Listen, I know Troll 2 is in a league. It's such a following. It's such a to me. That movie is leaps and bounds over this movie.
Wow. Mr. Beetle bangs Kim. That's the movie.
Well, that's the Skinemax version of this movie.
Does he know the director? His background?
Well, David Duchovny. Well, yeah. Well, I don't know if Tom does, but you can tell.
That's what I'm saying. Do you know his background?
We hang out last weekend, so.
Doug, do you know his background?
Yeah.
What he used to direct?
Yeah.
So,
what are you trying to say, bro?
Do you know?
Yeah, bro.
Okay, you know. Okay.
Put it out.
Well, Doug has the collection in his back, in his office.
Yeah, it's in the closet. Also, like a deck or something.
I get you. I see what you're saying. So anyway, but this is definitely to me, without a doubt, a top 3 for me, and one of the lower ones. I have to say, I was more entertained by the Son of the Mask, and that's saying a lot.
All right. Well, I say check it out. Jamie says no. Tom says yes because there's a following. Tom, thank you for joining us for this. And the next sequel that we are covering is going to require a lot of body bags, and that is the return of, I think I could say R, right, Jamie? Favorite vigilante, Paul Kersey. Death Wish 4, The Crackdown. This movie is insane. It's the third canon Death Wish movie. It's John P. Ryan, a young Danny Trejo, which in that movie, there is a scene that has a dummy Danny Trejo that is absolutely mind-blowing. And of course, there's no way to review a Death Wish without our personal Charles Bronson and action expert, Andrew I Got the Powers. We'll be back to help us break down this movie. It's mind-blowing movie. It's crazier than the third one, I think.
Hold on. So Andrew gets Death Wish 4, and you get a talking pony. What's the problem here?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a kid that I'm only related to because of birth. And
well, how else are you related to people?
Yes. I get talking pony. He's got the good ones. Come on, bro.
Wait, you guys are related?
Andrew?
Yeah, that's Tom's cousin.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that. Okay.
Death Wish 4, it's free on Amazon Prime. And for Death Wish 4, man, talking about a person that we got to interview, Tim Russ, who has such a small early in his career, but important role in Death Wish 4. But most people know him as Lieutenant Tuvok on Star Trek Voyager. He was in Samantha Who, Spaceballs. He was even in, our buddy Robbie Schaefer's Dick Dixter, and lots more. Great interview. So you're going to make sure you check that out next week. So don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.